Okay, on today's video, I am inviting you, whoever you are watching this video, to roast me for the Dynasty trades that I have made since I think about February. I'm going to show you, well, as many as I could find. I really wish Sleeper had a feature where you could just see all the trades that you completed. I tried to find as many as I could. There's definitely some that are missing, but I'm going to take you through 10 plus Dynasty football trades that I have made since about I think February or so. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to roast me in the chat if you want, and I'll explain why I made these moves. Maybe this is an inspiration for you to go trade for some of these players, or if you see opposite to me, to sell some of these players. So do me a favor, drop a like on this video to show your boy some support. Subscribe if you like Dynasty content. And I want you to comment down below a trade that you have made recently that you think might be controversial and that you could get roasted for in the comments. As always, you guys know this. If you want to find my rankings, Badaki's rankings, our articles, our exclusives, go ahead and sign up to Flock Fantasy, flockfantasy.com/land. Use our code LAND for 30% off any membership. Okay, so let's look at the first trade. And honestly, what I did, guys, I went through Sleeper and I just screenshotted. I didn't look at them. So this is kind of going to be bringing back to memory some of these trades and telling you what I was thinking in that moment. So the first trade here, I remember this. This was in a home league of mine. Shout out to Daniel Iliu. I made this trade with. For me, this was avoiding the unknowns of Javonte Williams' injury, the ACL, I think MCL, I think there's like 3 tears in the knee at the moment. So I'm aiming to replace Javonte Williams at the 109. And then I wanted to trade up from the 205 into that 202 sweet spot where I feel like maybe an Addison, if he doesn't get the right capital, or a Zay Flowers, one of these tight ends that I love, or a running back, like let's say Tajay Spears, if he gets really great draft capital, I could look at there. The Javonte Williams situation to me, let me know if you guys disagree, but it's just screaming J.K. Dobbins last offseason. Like, that is the vibes I'm getting right now. It's not great vibes. It wasn't just the ACL that was injured. There is more damage than just an ACL tear in Javonte Williams' knee. If you look at J.K. Dobbins last year, let's look at the highs and lows of his rankings, right? He was the high of RB8 in the Dynasty community. That was October 9th, 2022. And the same month, at the end of the month, he was a low of RB27. Today, J.K. Dobbins is valued before the NFL draft, which that could change if they draft someone, as the RB16. He's also my RB16 over on flockfantasy.com. But right now we have Javonte Williams kind of teeter-tottering on that RB10 range. RB10 sometimes as low as 12, sometimes as high as 9. And I understand that Sean Payton loves to use, multiple running backs. Maybe that has a part to play here. But at the end of the day, I wanted to avoid the unknowns and draft a younger player at the 109. So I was off Javonte here in this trade, and I feel pretty good about it. You guys let me know if you disagree, but I think I would do that trade again today. All right, the second trade I'm looking at here, again, this was in a home league. It's funny that both these back-to-back are from the same home league. This was with a friend Colin of mine, and I just sent him like 10 trades one night. Just sent him 10 trades. Hey, if any of these excite you, let me know. And like hours later, sometimes you just get a notification in your league, a trade has been completed, and you're thinking to yourself, ooh, that could be my trade. That's what happened. It was my trade. So I just traded up into a tier that I like here, from the 109 to the 106. I don't think most leagues will do this. Come to find out later, Colin texted me the next morning and said, dude, I was drunk last night. I'm not going to reverse the trade, but it's funny that it happened like that. He said, I had one too many margaritas. And I was like, thank you. Shout out to the margaritas, because I feel good about this deal. All right, the third trade we're looking at here. Honestly, I can't even tell you what league this is in. And I can't tell you when it happened. But I know for sure my target was Sam Howell. I'm at very minimum intrigued by Sam Howell. His rushing upside is something I think is drastically valued or under discussed, maybe is the right way to say it. I mean, this is a guy who scored, I think, 10 touchdowns on the ground his last year in North Carolina. He's got that big body, almost like young Big Ben type vibes. So my target was Sam Howell here. I think the person I was trading with maybe valued Kmet over Dulcich. So I got Dulcich there. But yeah, I would do that trade again today. This is probably before the Sam Howell hype that he would be the starter, I would imagine. All right, the next trade here. This was me just selling Mike White for anything. Hey, Mike White went to Miami. What do you want from him? Give me something. Got the 305 somehow. Maybe this is the person. This is probably what happened. This is the person who has Tua. Maybe it's possible in your leagues. Maybe not. All right, the next trade here. I believe I made this trade early January, now that I think about it, actually. Like, I don't think that you can make this deal today. But you guys know, I mean, for the last 15 months, there's been one wide receiver that I have been screaming for you to trade for. You've probably been annoyed about how many times I've talked about it. That's Calvin Ridley. He was ridiculously undervalued last offseason. He was undervalued before he went to the Jags, before that was official. But you can see I made this deal, I think it was right as he went to Jacksonville. So I'm a big Calvin Ridley advocate, buying him on the low right now. I think a lot of people are forgetting the talent that Calvin Ridley is. I mean, this dude proved with Julio Jones on his team, while Julio Jones was in his prime, that he could hang with him. I think he's going to step instantly into Jacksonville and at minimum share the same type of opportunities that Christian Kirk had. So I like this Jaguars team. I love how Calvin Ridley fits in it. And a lot of me selling Romeo Doubs in this video, oddly enough. It's not that I don't like Doubs, it's just that again, a quality over quantity for me. All right, the next trade here. To me, I would call this trade like not playing the field, if that makes sense. That's my guy, Christian Watson. That was my target, and I went out and got him. I put this one on Twitter, and there was a lot of, back and forth. He's not worth that. Watson's not worth that. You could have gotten these other receivers in the class. You guys let me know how you feel. To me, outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba, there's not a wide receiver in this class right now, without knowing draft capital, that I prefer over Christian Watson. Like, I'm taking Christian Watson over Quentin Johnson. I'm taking Christian Watson over Jordan Addison right now. Probably over Zay Flowers, I would imagine. So as of this very moment, Watson for me at the 108 was kind of a no-brainer, because I think those are the wide receivers that you're going to see. There's no scenario in which JSN falls there. So you guys might see that differently. But for me, I have been trying to sell the 108, 109, 110 for Watson in almost every league that I have those picks. All right, this is a big trade here, a really big trade. I think this was with Billy. I remember, yeah, this was a Billy Spriggs trade. So this is a super flex league, obviously, and my main goal was to improve my wide receiver room. DJ for me was my quarterback 3 in this format, and as long as I got Sam Howell back, I felt good about this deal. Now putting Sam Howell into that quarterback 3, like I think in this, if I'm not mistaken, I have Mahomes and Fields in this league. I could be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure. I looked at Daniel Jones and said, okay, let's try and get like an elite talent and move off of Daniel Jones. But again, still wanted to add a quarterback 3 to my depth chart with Sam Howell, so I felt a little bit more comfortability there. And Sam Howell's a wild card. You never know what could really happen to him. Now, it's funny because when Billy and I were negotiating this trade, the piece he felt really unsure about was Miles Sanders. I don't know why there's a dash through him, but anyway, it was Miles Sanders. And I told Billy, I said, dude, Miles Sanders is going to sign somewhere, because Monty had just signed with the Lions. I said, Miles Sanders is going to sign somewhere, man. Like, this is probably a buy low for you. And then the next day, I think Miles Sanders goes to Carolina, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, like, that's a great landing spot. That's a great contract, a good player. They're probably going to establish the run with a rookie quarterback. So I think the more you look at this, the more this feels like an even trade. You can make a case genuinely that maybe Billy got the best side of this deal. I don't know, but I still feel good about this in hindsight. But I think with Miles Sanders landing in Carolina, there's a huge case for either side, I would say. All right, let's look at this next trade. You guys know I am a Kyle Pitts fanboy. I probably will be for a long time. And I still see this season, off season, as like a lull in his production, what eventually will be his production, his elite production. And I want to buy in this season right now, while Kyle Pitts is kind of like this name in the community, you know, like, oh, like, you know, he had so much hype, he didn't live up to it. Well, he's still, what is he, 22 years old right now, 23 soon. I'm gonna bet on Kyle Pitts long term. I'm gonna bet on the generational prospect. I'm gonna bet that they're gonna need a new quarterback after Desmond Ridder this season, and maybe they set themselves up well for a quarterback in next year's draft. But regardless, I'll bet on the talent here. To me, I thought I would have to pay more. I felt great about this deal. Might not happen in every league, but honestly, I would probably even send like the 106 plus Juju and Noah Fant. I just ended up getting this deal done here, and I can't remember which league it's from. And in previous videos, I have told you guys to pivot from Deebo Samuel. I released a video maybe a week or two ago, and one of my sell highs, which I clarified in the video, think of the sell high more as a pivot. It's not that I don't like these players, it's that I want to pivot now before value changes. And one of those players for me was Deebo Samuel. And I said, if you can pivot from Deebo to Ayuk, I would do that in a heartbeat right now. I mean, if you look this year, I understand Deebo was not healthy for the entire year, so we do have to keep that in mind. But let's just look at points per game. If you look at points per game this year between Ayuk and Deebo, Ayuk had more points per game at 13.4. Deebo had 13 points per game. So very similar, but Ayuk had the edge. He looked like a very good player. And then on the year, Ayuk finished wide receiver 15. Deebo 38. He obviously would have finished higher than wide receiver 38 if he was healthy the entire season. But still, for Ayuk to be wide receiver 15, I mean, that's quite impressive. I feel like Ayuk really established himself. Great rookie season, lull sophomore season. It's rare that someone then reestablishes themselves as a very good wide receiver in the NFL after a lull season. And he did that. So maybe he's a trade target, you know, mid-season. If they can't afford to keep Ayuk, maybe he will be traded to the Giants or to one of these teams that has a huge need. Regardless, I'm betting on the player. And Ayuk, again, was one of those names that I suggested to pivot to. Here's an example of me, you know, doing exactly what I'm telling you guys to do. And I think that's kind of the point of this video, for you to see everything out there and tell me what you think. All right, this next trade is me using Waddle to upgrade at tight end while tearing down at wide receiver, okay? And wouldn't you know it, Calvin Ridley is the wide receiver that I tiered down to. I already had a very good wide receiver room in this league, and I had no answer at tight end. And again, I keep saying that I personally believe it's not everyone, but a lot of people out there are willing to move Kyle Pitts, and I want to take advantage of that. Again, not everyone, because there definitely will be people in your leagues who are like, I'm not moving Kyle Pitts still for nothing. You can't send me anything. Like, those people are still out there, because I'm for the most part one of those people, right? But not everyone after this disappointing sophomore season is going to be holding on to him so tightly anymore. So I like Jake Ferguson, but I figured, you know what? I think Calvin Ridley's going to have a great, 2 or 3 years. Maybe I can sell high on him if he does, but I know Kyle Pitts is an elite talent. I'm losing Jalen Waddle, who's proven it. Kyle Pitts hasn't, but little risk reward there. But I felt good about my wide receiver room to make that move and then, not have to worry about tight end for quite some time in that league. All right, the next trade, again, a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks now, maybe a week, I can't remember. We brought a video called Must Hold Players. And one of those players for me was Rashid Shaheed. And I suggested to go buy him because he was valued at wide receiver 74 in the community. Even though, if you look at, because he only started playing in the NFL from week 6 onwards, it's his rookie season. He was an undrafted free agent, but he was like wide receiver 45 from week 6 onwards. And I believe there was a time span there where he was like a top 40, I think it was wide receiver 39 when they actually started involving him. But point being, there's a lot of opportunity for Rashid Shaheed in 2023, the way I'm projecting that this team pans out, right? Olave is your one. Michael Thomas is back, but can he stay healthy and do they want to build around him? Shaheed showed a lot of promise, a lot of signs. and he's probably going to be your starting slot wide receiver unless they go and draft a wide receiver at pick 29 or early second, you know? So Shaheed has a really good opportunity ahead of him. And in a non-tight end premium format, I'm willing to lose K-Dot and, you know, to see what Shaheed could be. And then the last trade I guess we'll look at today, which might be the most controversial one, because I remember when I made this trade, I believe this was the Alpha League, our follower leagues, actually. I believe people were kind of on the side that I got taken for a ride here. I don't feel that way still. But you see, I get the 102 and the 210. I send away the 106, the 111, and then a couple third and fourth round picks. To be honest, you could have had me add 6 more fourth round picks and I would have done this deal. Like I'm much more a quality over quantity type dynasty player, and you can have as many of my fourth round picks as you want. But really what I was looking at here is the 106. I'm not in the range of a player that I want there. Probably going to have to decide between Jahmyr Gibbs and Will Levis at that point. At the 102, I have so much more flexibility and I feel better about the tier of player at that point. I feel like really the 105 is a cutoff point for players that I love in a super flex rookie draft. So yeah, I lost the 111, but again, that 111 is out of a tier for me that I really love. And I still got a late second round pick, which I think the second round is really deep this year. So in a super flex format, I felt really good about trading up to the 102. Now I got a ton of flexibility at the 102 and I can do whatever I want. Whereas I don't feel like the 106 right now is as popular as the 102. And I remember making this trade this might've been a January trade. I don't even remember at this point, but again, just projecting the 102 to gain value. And I didn't know how I felt about the 106. So those are some deals that I've made. Okay, again, it's not all of them because I really wish Sleeper had this feature where you could just look at all of the trades you've made regardless of a league. I think that'd be so cool. And I doubt anyone from Sleeper is even going to watch this, but that would be awesome. But I just quickly tried to find as many as I could. And just wanted to tell you guys my thought process behind each of these trades. Feel free, honestly, feel free to roast me. You probably like some of the trades. You probably dislike others. That's fine. I want to hear your thoughts. And I just wanted you to kind of get into my mind for a second and see some of the trades that I've been making and kind of just, you know, practicing what I've been preaching on some of those trade videos that we release. So hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like to show some support. Subscribe if you like Dynasty content. And we'll see you in the next video very soon. All love. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy. Even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.